She opened a gate to save a dying alien, and became something more. What if the loneliest part of you was never a flaw, but a signal, sent into the stars? In the frozen silence of a forgotten station, a woman touches an ancient device buried beneath ice, and awakens something no one was ever meant to find. An exile. A guardian. A being of light and sorrow who carries the memory of a lost civilization, and now, because of her, lives again. But their bond isn't just accidental. It's biological, emotional, cosmic. This is not just a story of survival. It's about what happens when two broken souls from opposite sides of the universe are pulled together by a force older than time, and have to choose between freedom and each other. Stay with this story. Let it unfold slowly. And ask yourself, if the stars gave you a second chance at love, would you take it? The sky above Gaia Prime's eastern rim never truly brightened. A dull violet hue stretched across the frozen horizon, and for 4 years, that color was all Lina had known. Her boots crunched softly across the frost-bitten walkway of Station 09. A dying research facility, forgotten by every map except hers. She preferred it that way. No orders. No voices. No memories of Earth, or the person she'd lost there. She once loved a man who believed in terraforming Mars. He died whispering her name in a ruptured cryo chamber, lungs too torn to speak it a second time. That sound had never left her. In this silence, it was almost like he was still listening. The wind that night carried something different. Electric. Sharp. It pushed against the station's outer panels like a warning. Plasma storm, the sensors blinked. But Lina didn't turn back. She'd seen hundreds. This one felt wrong. She was halfway across the glacier shelf when the ice cracked. It wasn't loud. Not like in the movies. It was more of a breath, a slow inhale from beneath her feet. Then, light. Not blue like the auroras. Gold. Soft. Ancient. Lina followed it down a shallow ridge, into the hollow of the storm's eye. There, buried in layered frost, was something impossible. A device. Circular. Smooth. Covered in glowing glyphs like a language that remembered being spoken long before humans had tongues. It pulsed with life, and yet, it slept. She knelt beside it. The wind howled louder, as if begging her to stop. But her fingers moved on their own. She touched the center. And the stars moved. A ripple surged outward. Her hand flared with pain, as something etched itself into her skin, symbols spiraling from palm to elbow, glowing like a second constellation etched into flesh. She screamed, but her voice vanished in the light. From within the device, something stirred. A figure tall, lithe, and wrapped in fractals of shadow and starlight rose as if unfolding from another dimension. It stepped onto the snow, utterly silent. No breath, no heat, but undeniably alive. Its eyes found her. Eyes that burned like dying galaxies. Infinite sorrow contained within 2 still points of light. She couldn't move. Her body locked in place. The figure tilted its head. Then it spoke not with a voice, but directly into her thoughts. A soundless whisper that shook the marrow in her bones. "You've opened the gate," it said. "And now, we are bound." Lina dropped to her knees. Somewhere in the back of her mind, something cracked. And everything she thought she was human, alone, forgotten shifted, slightly, forever. She didn't know it yet, but in that moment, she didn't just open a door. She became its key. She ran. Snow whipped past her face as she stumbled back toward the ridge, Lungs burning with frozen air, heart pounding with something that wasn't fear, but closed like awe sharpened into panic. Behind her, the light still bled into the sky. The figure hadn't followed. Not yet. But it was inside her now. She could feel it. Not its body but its memory. Its voice. Its grief. Lina reached the outer gate of Station 09 and slammed the seal. Alarms flickered, systems sputtering back to life as the structure recalibrated around her. She backed into the corridor, shoulders trembling, arms still glowing faintly through her sleeve. In the mirror of her helmet visor, she saw them, the symbols. Still pulsing. Still alive. A warning. A wound. Or maybe a map. Then, without sound, without effort, the lights in the corridor dimmed. He was here. She turned. The being stood at the entrance, framed by drifting frost. He hadn't walked. Hadn't forced his way through. He simply was. Present. Like the moment before thunder. "I locked that hatch," she said, her voice shaking. "You did," he replied, his voice no louder than thought. "And yet, here I am." She stepped back instinctively, but the wall was already behind her. Her mind screamed for escape but her body stilled. "I won't hurt you," he said, his eyes searching hers, not with hunger, not with anger. But something colder. Loneliness. "That mark on your skin," he added softly, "means you touched what was never meant to be opened. You've awakened the last bond." She clenched her jaw. "What are you?" He blinked slowly, like he hadn't been asked that question in centuries. "I am Kha'rel," he said. "I was once the guardian of the gate. Now I am its prisoner." "And me?" she asked. "You," he replied, "are now my tether. My anchor to this dimension. And I am yours." Lina laughed, a short, broken sound. "No. No, I didn't ask for this. I was just lonely," he finished, without cruelty. She froze. He took a single step forward. Just one. But she felt it through her bones. "I've been alone for over 1,000 years, he said. Held between time, between breath. Waiting. Watching. Bound to the gate. Until you," he added, more quietly. "Until your touch." She wanted to hate him. Wanted to demand he fix it, undo it, erase her from this madness. But beneath the fire in her veins, something deeper stirred. Recognition. His loneliness was identical to hers. His silence felt like her silence. As if whatever had been haunting her for years had been echoing across the stars all this time, just waiting to be answered. "What happens now?" she whispered. Kha'rel's gaze darkened. "They will come." "Who?" "The Watchers. The ones who made me. Who made the gate. They will see the seal has been broken. And they will not allow it to stay that way." "Why?" she asked, breath shallow. "Because the gate doesn't just open," he said. "It chooses. And it has chosen you." The lights around them flickered again. Outside, the wind picked up. Not just weather. Something deeper. Something unnatural. Lina looked down at her hand. The glow wasn't fading. It was growing. The station groaned under the weight of the storm. Ice tapped the windows like fingers. Or maybe it wasn't the storm. Lina sat on the edge of her narrow cot, staring at her hands. The symbols still pulsed faintly beneath her skin, tracing lines of energy she didn't understand. Her fingers trembled, but it wasn't from the cold. Across the room, Kha'rel stood unmoving in the corner, his form shifting subtly like he was never fully there, as if the dimension still hadn't decided whether to keep him or let him go. "Why me?" she asked without looking up. He didn't answer. "Out of all the people across all these galaxies, why did I wake you?" Kha'rel's voice came slowly, like the first words after centuries of silence. "You matched the frequency," he said. "Not just in DNA, but in resonance. In grief." Lina lifted her eyes, narrowing them. "Grief? You're not just lost, Lina. You are empty. Hollowed. You carry echoes inside you. So do I. The gate finds those echoes and calls them home." She stood. "You make it sound like I was built for this." He tilted his head, unreadable. "Maybe you were?" The temperature dropped. Not from the storm. This chill was from inside the station. Lina turned to the main console. The screen flickered with static then burst into strange symbols. Not the usual diagnostic glyphs. These were familiar. The same as the ones on her arm. "Something's broadcasting to us," she muttered. Kha'rel stepped forward quickly. His presence filled the room like gravity. "They've found us." "The Watchers," she whispered. He nodded once. The moment the seal activated, it sent a signal across the fold of space. "They've been waiting. Watching the gate for reactivation. They do not tolerate awakening. They do not question. They erase." Lina's pulse quickened. "How long do we have?" "Hours. Maybe less." A sudden pain struck behind her eyes. She staggered, nearly collapsing against the console. Kha'rel rushed to her side, catching her with a gentleness she hadn't expected. "What's happening to me?" He placed his fingers on her temple, not touching skin, but hovering just close enough to glow. "You're absorbing too much," he said. "The gate is sinking. Trying to show you everything at once." And then it did. The room dissolved around her. She was standing in a different place. Not physically, but within her own mind. A city built of starlight and stone. Spires that touched the void. Creatures like Kha'rel walking among glowing trees that hummed when you passed. She saw him, Kha'rel, standing before a council of silent, tall beings wrapped in obsidian robes. His voice echoed through the chamber, defiant. "I will not let them weaponize the gate. It was meant to guide, not conquer." The sentence earned him silence. Then judgment. The Watchers raised their hands. Chains of energy lashed around him, pulling him to the gate. His body writhed. Not in pain. In sorrow. Then darkness. Lina gasped and tore herself back into reality. She was in the station again, drenched in sweat, her breath wild. Kha'rel watched her with soft, ancient eyes. "You saw it. They exiled you, because you tried to protect them," she said. "They feared what the gate could become. What I could become." Lina's voice broke. "They buried you alive. For trying to stop a war." He looked away. And for the first time, she saw him not as a creature of mystery but as a man who had loved, and lost, and been forgotten by time. She stepped closer. He didn't flinch. "Do you still feel it?" she asked softly. "That loneliness?" "All the time." She reached for his hand. To her surprise it was warm. "We're not alone anymore," she whispered. Outside, far above them, in orbit unseen. A ship turned its dark eye toward the world. A pulse of energy screamed through the sky. The Watchers had arrived. The sound came like thunder without air, deep, echoing, impossible. The walls of Station 09 shuddered. Consoles dimmed. Gravity trembled for just a moment, as if the planet itself held its breath. Lina stood frozen by the window. Above the sky, just barely breaking through the cloud cover, a ship hovered. It didn't glow. It absorbed light. It was shaped like a blade, long and silent, and it didn't descend, it watched. "They're here," Kha'rel said. "The Watchers." She didn't ask how he knew. The air itself had changed. The molecules vibrated differently now. Her skin prickled with something deeper than fear. "What do they want?" she asked. "To undo you?" She turned to him. "You mean kill me?" He nodded slowly. "They will unmake the bond. Erase your molecular memory of the gate. As if none of this ever happened. They call it mercy." Lina's mouth tightened. "Sounds like execution to me." "You're not wrong." Another tremor hit the station. Panels burst. Glass cracked. "We have to leave," he said. "I can't fly in this storm. My shuttle won't clear the stratosphere." He moved quickly, with fluid, unnatural grace. "You won't need the shuttle. I can shift us out bend distance. But it will hurt you." "I'm already hurting." Their eyes met. It wasn't love. Not yet. But it was trust. "Do it," she said. Kha'rel stepped closer, placed his hand against her sternum directly over the glowing seal that had marked her since the gate. His skin sparked against hers, and the air twisted. The world folded. Not like a portal. Not like science fiction. It folded like memory. She saw her childhood bedroom. Her father's face. The red warning lights of the cryo chamber where her partner had died. Kha'rel's trial. Stars colliding. Whole cities turning to ash. A billion voices crying out for peace. And then silence. When her eyes opened again, they were standing in a valley of snow far from the station. Above them, the ship was moving. No longer watching. Now hunting. She dropped to her knees, coughing, blood on her lips. Kha'rel hovered beside her, shielding her from the wind. "You weren't ready for that." "I did it, didn't I?" He offered a hint of a smile. "You survived." "Same thing." The wind howled. Trees bent. The air vibrated again. "They are scanning for the gate," he said. "I'm not the gate," she snapped. But even as the words left her mouth, she felt a lie in them. Something inside her pulsed in rhythm with the sky. The seal on her chest flared brighter than ever before, gold and violet. Kha'rel stepped back in disbelief. "It's responding to you directly?" Lina stood, shaky. "Why is it doing that?" "Because the gate wasn't just a machine. It was a being. A channel. A memory of a species so old it died whispering itself into code. And part of it lives in you." Her fingers curled. The wind bent around her. Energy shimmered at her feet. She wasn't just bonded to Kha'rel. She was bonded to something older than stars. "They'll come down now," he said. "They'll see you as a threat." Lina closed her eyes, the pulse in her chest matching the heartbeat of the world. "I am." Above them, the Watcher ship shifted, split open like a claw. Figures emerged, tall, faceless, wrapped in armor of shifting dark. Not walking. Floating. Drawing blades of pure sound. Lina looked at Kha'rel. "No more running." He hesitated. "They'll kill you." She raised her hand, glowing brighter than the sky. They can try. The snow around her lifted in a perfect ring. And the gate wherever it was answered. The watchers descended like judgment from the stars, silent, unstoppable, beautiful in their terror. They hovered above the snow, their bodies flickering with black light, and they did not speak. They never did. They only erased. Kha'rel stood before Lina, arms outstretched. "Run," he said. But Lina didn't move. The seal on her chest glowed brighter with every breath. "I'm done running," she said. "And so are you?" The watchers raised their weapons, blades of distortion, forged from broken sound and compressed time. With a single motion, they could unmake her. Lina closed her eyes and let go. The seal erupted, pure, radiant light exploded from her body, not in fire, but in memory. Every moment she had ever lived, every sorrow, every joy, every quiet breath in between poured outward in a wave. The watchers halted. Time warped around her. The air shimmered, folded, bent and then stilled. Kha'rel stared, stunned. You've merged with it." "No," Lina said softly, her voice layered with something deeper. "It has merged with me." She understood now. The gate wasn't just technology. It was a living archive. A last remnant of a civilization that didn't want to be forgotten. A soul, scattered into the stars, waiting to be reassembled inside someone who could carry it and feel it. And that someone was Lina. She was the bridge between what had been and what could be. A voice echoed inside her. Not Kha'rel's. Not her own. But thousands of voices, rising together. "You are the keeper of echoes. You are the answer the silence waited for." The watchers lowered their weapons. And bowed. Not out of fear. Out of recognition. Out of awe. Kha'rel stepped closer. His form flickered, more solid than before, as if her light had anchored him more deeply to this plane. "Lina." His voice broke. "You were never just a signal. Never just a key." She turned to him. "I was human. I am human. But I'm also more. And if you stay with me, so are you." He looked at her not as a guardian. Not as a curse. But as a man. As someone who had waited lifetimes to be seen. "What happens now?" he asked. Lina looked up at the sky, no longer dark, but glowing faintly with the light of the gate, now reawakened and alive within her. "We guide them," she said. "All of them. The forgotten. The grieving. The broken. We help them find their way. And us," he whispered. She reached out, took his hand. Her fingers were still warm. "We already have." Their silhouettes merged in the light. And high above, the watchers vanished one by one, no longer executioners, but witnesses. The story of the gate didn't end that day. It began. And those who traveled near the icy edge of Gaia Prime would later speak of a beacon, pulsing in rhythm with a heartbeat no longer lonely. Some said it was myth. Some said it was hope. But for one girl who had once been broken, and one being who had once been forgotten, it was simply home. Not every ending is quiet. Some echo forever. She opened a gate buried beneath frost, and in doing so, unlocked not just a lost alien, but herself. She became the bridge between species, between memory and future, between sorrow and something that looked a lot like hope. He was created to guard the universe from what it couldn't understand. But he chose to stay for what he finally did, her. And in their union, something ancient healed. If this story stirred something in you, if it made you feel less alone, more human, Or maybe a little more starborn. Leave a comment. Share your favorite moment. Or just tell us, would you have chosen love? Because somewhere, in the cold between stars, that answer still matters.